All right, welcome back. Now it's time for us to go into our different communities to find out, some of the things that are going on there, expose the challenges. I think that this segment is so important because sometimes you can sit in your home, say in rich cantonments, you're not aware that even as you're in Ghana, in this same country, sometimes even in the same city, there are major challenges that are happening around you, but you're not aware because how
of
your life
no
is
business,
structured.
for instance, if you live at Labone, you probably have no business at Amasaman. So whatever is going on in Amasaman, unless you are told or unless you see discussions like this, you have no idea. Some children are sitting under some trees somewhere,
exactly. Exactly. So we're going to show you something from the Western region. The Tano River, we've been talking about the Pra, we've talked about the Brim and all of that, but the Tano River as well, it's quite a devastating situation there. Galamsey, illegal mining, it's happening. Let's take a look at this report. We'll come back and then we'll engage in this conversation.
Data from the Water Resources Commission indicates that the Tano River has a total catchment area of about 15,000 kilometers square shared between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. About 93% of the drainage area is within Ghana, while the remaining 7% is in Cote d'Ivoire. The Tano River basin constitutes a major source of domestic water supply. Other uses include industrial, mining, and irrigation for farming. But an aerial view of the Tano basin of Asankregwa and other areas of Amenfi Central and West in the Western region depict massive destruction of the river by illegal small-scale gold mining activities. Emboldened by the government community mining scheme, all these gold processing machines sitting in the river and close to the river banks are busily polluting the river. The Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, George Mrikuduka, who led a patrol of the river with some military personnel, expressed his disgust at some of the arrested galamseyers.
We blame me Abay. Say Abay. How? Aban ma Ghana nkoso na sika nke betumi de aye akwan no se de ko titi nsuo no yeyi sa chemicals ni nyina free sa nsuo no mu ansa wo kra wonya bia no bisa wo sa nsuo yi se sebi ma sa no ma obetumi ano munya no betumi sebi ma mo ma no anko betumi ano so da bi go first time bring.
He said government will not renege in its commitment to the Galamsey fight. He revealed that Train River Police will soon be deployed to curtail such activities.
It's very unfortunate that we experience such things, and we will not relent on our effort to clamp down these illegal miners. We must resolve the matter now. What the ministry is going ahead to do is to set up river wardens where people will be permanently placed along the river banks to be patrolling permanently. The military will, intermittently move around to see if people are mining.
Government, in a move to halt the widespread devastation of water bodies such as the river Ankobra, Pra, and Tano by illegal small-scale mining in the country, in the long term established the Ghana Landscape Restoration and Small-Scale Mining Project. Speaking at a stakeholders consultative meeting in Takwa, to find ways of addressing the destruction caused by illegal mining to water bodies and landscapes, the National Project Coordinator for the Ghana Landscape Restoration and Small-Scale Mining Project, while emphasizing the concern, also highlighted some of the key benefits of the project.
This project is also refurbishing the Minerals Commission offices, and by that I mean making sure that the equipments, computers, and facilities are in place for them to be able to assist anybody who wants to apply for a small-scale mining license. Because what the president wants to do is that on the 6th of June, the president is going to commission 100 mercury-free machines. Those machines that the president will commission will be available to small-scale miners. When you go through the process, then you get your licenses. Government support you with one of those machines. And that means you are discouraged from using mercury and cyanide so that the environment is protected. protected, but more importantly, the recovery rate of a gold catcher machine, those that the president will be commissioning, is around 95%.
Right, so this is the problem in the central region. It looks like, I don't know whether we are fighting, galamsey, or galamsey is fighting us. I don't know who is winning. It looks like galamsey is true, and it is winning.
But our colleague is here. He understands these things.
Well, so Kojo Boateng is here with us, and Kojo will be giving us the answers that we are asking. Whether we are making, any, are we just joking with this whole thing? Are we really fighting galamsey? Are we making any inroads, in bringing the challenges associated with galamsey to a stop, or we are just paying lip service? We just go stand there, do some kind of media interview, finish, come back home, and sit down. Kojo, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you, Firma.
So what's the answer? I'm well, thank you.
Well, the answer is what you would call problem has changed states, right? In Nigeria, they had NEPA, which was a National Electricity Production Authority or something, and then they rebranded to PH, Power Holding Company something. And so NEPA was never expect power always. That's how Nigerians called it, and it was rebranded to PHCN, and they called it Problem Has Changed name.
Nothing has changed.
Because these videos we just saw, which viewers also saw, this is not the first time we are seeing videos like this. When the Stop Galamsey Now fight began, Galam Stop, Operation Halt, Operation Stop Galamsey Now, all those different.
Halt Part 1, Halt Part 2.
We saw a lot of these videos. We've seen videos, drone shots, helicopter shots, and everything. And it looks as though whenever we see new videos, the problem is worse. So that's why I'm saying problem has changed name. If you look at the Tano River, for example, it takes its source from Techiman and travels all the way from Techiman to the western region. It goes through the Ashanti region. It goes through other regions before it gets to the western region. Along the course of the Tano River, it is dammed at various places to treat, to serve people. So if you get to Sunyai, Tanoso, there's a water treatment plant. As you keep coming down, there are water treatment plants. So that's a key service the river gives us. Aside that, there is also a large forest enclave, at least 40% of the land through which the river passes has forest. And then there is cocoa, there is plantain, there is agric. So we know the importance of the river. Back then, if you go to the lagoon in the western region, when galamsey wasn't that bad, the key environmental problem they were facing there was water weeds. Right? But now you go to the lagoon, you won't find the water weeds. If you find, it won't be as much as it used to be. Because now there are all sorts of things flowing into the lagoon, and life in the lagoon cannot be supported. And when I see ministers and state officials go there, and sometimes they lament, I ask myself why we are lamenting. Because destroying the environment, destroying a river like this, is a matter of national security. Because look at the country. You have the Volta River, the 3 Volta rivers, flowing eastwards, right? So red Volta, black Volta, white Volta will converge somewhere around the southern part of the northern region, and they will all flow into the Volta Lake plus the Oti River, flowing eastwards. That river has not been touched largely. If you come to the middle belt, you have the Pra River, which is also flowing down. You have the Offing and Owabi rivers, which will join the Pra River, which also serve as water for Kumasi, Obuasi, and other places. And then you come down south, you have the Brim, Ayensu, Densu, which is also flowing into Weja to give us water. Brim has been affected. Ayensu, Densu have been affected. Tano, which is largely serving the western part for agric, for water, for everything. So I think that at this particular point, we must ask ourselves whether the gold is more important to us than the water which feeds our homes. Because Tano, about at least 5 million or so people depend on Tano for water. So we ask ourselves, is the gold more important, or is the water that is helping us drink water to keep us going, the water that is serving the forests and the agric activities, and the water that flows into the sea, to the estuary, where fish will come and spawn, and then go back into the sea, grow for our fishermen to catch fish for us to eat. We should ask ourselves that, and nobody can tell any of us that the gold and the activities being carried out by illegal miners and the community miners as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't see the pollution being caused only by the illegal miners.
No.
Even the community mining, which we say we are regulating, we have not put in place environmental safeguards to ensure that this also doesn't affect. So it's a question Ghanaians need to answer. And we all know the answer anyway. So if we feel that the gold and the impact of the gold on our livelihood and the future generation isn't something that is key, what should we do? Ban it all over again? We can explore that. Are there places which are not too close to the river bodies that we can allow people to mine safely such that it doesn't pollute the river body? Let's identify those places. The places close to the river body, let's police those places. Armed police, armed military, armed whatever. Let's empower communities to rise up against some of these things.
But Kojo, we've had some of these operations that we are doing, you know, take armed police, armed military, but nothing has happened. And for me, so it looks like what else should we really do? Because if you have the people who are supposed to stop it there, but the thing is still going on.
Sometimes consistency counts. If the Ghana Armed Forces will be truthful to us, if Operation Stop Galamsey now will be truthful to us, they will tell you that when it was launched with fanfare, with speeches by the president and by all sorts of people, the resources they even needed to stay out there to protect the facilities, our natural resources, was not available.
So we are not fighting it.
If the procurement unit will tell you, so we launched something and we fought it with word on paper. Yeah. But we really were not as committed to execute what we were supposed to do.
Okay.
That's one of the things that we've not really done well. If we had consistently done that and maybe executed the other strategies, maybe we would have found other solutions to this.
Would definitely want to pick your thoughts on something, but our colleague from the Western region, Akwesi Enyimeje, is on the line. Akwesi, good morning.
Morning, David.
Yeah, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Thank you.
Very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us on Breakfast Daily. Now, Akwesi, we saw, images there of the deputy minister arriving on the scene, where the number of people have been arrested and all that. Akwesi, you brought us several reports over the last few years. This is not anything new. What is it that makes yourself or anybody else feel as if we are going to make progress, anytime soon?
Well, David, two things for me is what we should be doing. As a country, we've spoken about it, and we've not been able to put it into action. The ministry has, over the last few months, has been making some proposals as to what it is going to make sure that it does to end this whole thing. The intermittent soup, we all know, is not using the results. And so the ministry has promised to introduce this water warden, which, if you look at the last time we had a discourse around this subject, even the regional minister re-emphasized that point, that they are going to introduce this water warden. And up to date, they haven't deployed the water warden, because if you do the intermittent soup, you go back to sleep, and then the people go back to operate, to pollute the water. And so we need to see that water warden deployment taking place, so that we'll have a constant and regular watching of our water bodies. Secondly, we know on the 6th of June, the government has procured some 100 new technologies, gold processing technologies for small-scale miners, and we understand on the 6th, they will be deployed to small-scale miners who have duly registered. And the whole idea is to make sure that they will not, this is a technology, because it's the gold catcher. The gold catcher has a technology which doesn't depend so much on water. The current technology they are using, they need more water. And so that is why they move closer to water bodies to be able to access the water, the fresh water from the river stream. But with this gold catcher technology, the anticipation is that with more water, they will be able to process at a very high recovery rate. And so when these 100 gold catcher machines are deployed, miners will not necessarily have to be pushed to go close to river bodies to be able to get more water to process. And so the expectation is that if these two things are actually put in place, the widespread pollution of our water bodies would kind of be protected. But the question is, we have more galamseyers out there than the 100 we have procured. So what will happen to the rest of the galamseyers who will not be able to access this 100 procured gold catcher technology? And so for me, the issues we have to be looking at is how government can actually keep its promise of deploying these water wardens as soon as possible. The ministry says they procured even some river motors, the vessels to actually patrol the major streams, Tano River and the rest. Where are they? When are we going to see them on the river? And so for me, as much as you spoke about these things, we need to see it being put into action.
Right, Akwesi, so looking at, coming over the years, right, with our fight against galamsey, per you monitoring how things have been going, would you say that we are making progress, regardless of how slowly paced it is, or it is getting worse, or we are where we've always been?
If I'm to use the color of the river, bodies as a yardstick of measure, I would say we are not doing anything new. Nothing has changed because the colors haven't really changed. And when you go into the hinterland, you see these galamsey activities going. And I like the point Kojo made. There isn't so much difference between the galamsey, the illegal small-scale gold miners, and that of the
community mining.
Community mines. The technology they are using, they are not different. And so for me, this community mine hasn't really taken us any far in terms of getting things better. And so our water bodies are still polluted as you saw it. And so the whole fight against illegal small-scale mining was the rate at which we were polluting our water bodies. And so if today we're still seeing the color not change and still undergoing, if you look at the drones, the helicopter shot that we took, you could see that some of the washing machines are still sitting in the river bodies.
Yes.
And they are operating. When they saw us coming, they ran away. And so we were only left with the washing machines, inside the stream, the river. But so almost all the things that led to the fight against galamsey are still very much dominant when you go on the ground.
So when you mention the gold catcher machines, why do you say you don't need so much water? I'm trying to understand exactly how that works.
Well, that is the attributes or the characteristics of this very technology. It is made so that for you to process a certain amount or quantity of gold, you don't need that much water to wash to do the processing. And so with a bucket of water, you can do a huge amount of processing of ore.
I see.
And that is what the government is hoping to deploy on the 6th of June.
All right.
And so that's the expectation that.
All right. Okay. All right, Akwesi, thank you very much for the update. Thank you. So that's our colleague, Akwesi J. Enim, from the Western region. Kojo?
Yeah, Kojo.
So, fair enough. The government is deploying new machinery, gold catcher machines. Now, that's on one hand. What I'm asking is, we all saw this video of the His Royal Highness Otumfuo speaking to a group of people, and he made certain comments. He says, all of us sitting in this room here, we know the people who are financiers of the galamsey. Now, here's my question. It seems to me that the government is on a joking spree if you're going to the other end to say we are catching the small fry who are happening to be playing around in the water, trying to make their daily needs met.
Probably is even a laborer
Yes.
For the big man. You see, I mean, that is it.
No, so that's actually the point I'm making, right? But there's somebody who's making sure that person gets paid on the daily, right? So that person will go out there anyway. But we don't see those faces of the people who are pumping in the money. Shouldn't government be rather focusing their energies, if they are really serious about stopping galamsey, in going after the big financiers? Because at the end of the day, look, we've seen all kinds of things in Europe, in America. Whenever they want to stop a major crime, thing that's going on,
cut the head of the snake.
Cut the head of the snake. I don't know.
Now, let me just add this to it.
Am I misguided in my thoughts? I don't understand.
Let me add this to it before you come. So these people that they go and grab, where are they?
Yeah.
Like the laborers and the people that they go and line up and take them.
Well,
where are they?
We've been given some update on that some time ago. We were given some updates that some were taken to court, some have been imprisoned. Some are
These are prisons that are brimming to the seams. At the seams.
Some are still putting more through the legal processes, and so that update was given, I think, at a meet the press or something. I've forgotten the actual figures, but we were given figures in the hundreds. That these number of people have been taken to court, these number of people have been in prison. But I'm with the two of you on finding the main guys and the financiers, because the problem must be solved from different angles. Once you are dealing with the main guys, these so-called laborers, who for some reason may not have anything to do, or galamsey presents a better opportunity, would want to do galamsey, what alternatives do we give them? We've announced alternative livelihood programs within the period. How have we implemented them, for example, to ensure that these people earn something better in a safer environment that doesn't put us in danger as a country? Those are also legitimate questions to ask. And the bit about engaging all stakeholders, I still don't feel that stakeholders are engaged and empowered enough. Because these things, some of them happen in communities. And sometimes I feel maybe the communities have not been engaged enough. You see, once you enter the community and you find the key opinion leaders and you present the challenge and you take their inputs and then you agree on something, you also try to galvanize the whole community, so that sometimes unity in numbers, they fight some of these things at their level. And the alternative livelihood proposals or whatever we have to do we engage the community to find out what works and what can work and work with them. I don't think that is done well. But all in all, it all comes up to the CEO. Whilst we are looking for the snake to cut the head, when it comes to implementing the solutions for us, it all comes down to the CEO, to the president. Is he still committed to the fight to protect the environment? Is he still committed to the fight against galamsey? Because if there's commitment from that side as well, everybody in the value chain will be put on their toes to also do more to help us deal with this. So I think it's something that we need. We need that commitment again. I think the commitment from the president has been lost to some extent.
So looking at so now we're talking about the president's commitment, but help me with this. So there are some young people who do not want to do anything illegal. Galamsey, go on the street, take money from people. I mean, they don't want to do that. And so when the government also brought up some job creation initiatives, they subjected themselves to this. They have been working. They have not been paid. What is the motivation? So if I have a brother at home who is always going for government something, and at the end of the day comes back home, we have not been paid. 1 month, 2 months, we've not been paid. We see them, picketing at various ministries. We have people who have finished nursing training. They have not been posted. What is the motivation? What is the inspiration for somebody who hasn't even got a certificate to say that I'm dependent on government to create some kind of job for me? It looks like now your life is in your hand. Whichever way you can survival of the fittest, do something, eat. Is that not our problem today?
That's also a big one. We create jobs and to solve problems, and they end up becoming problems. And sometimes it's just fair to say that the approach is usually wrong. For example, if you want to create jobs for the masses, especially the youth, where are the jobs, or what industries can we easily tap into to make sure things work? I'll use the Tano River as an example. Tano into the sea. From Techiman all the way to the sea is 400 kilometers. Along the stretch, there are flat lands and arable lands that we can help develop for people to farm. And this thing I've said before, if in every community along the Tano River, an estimated land of, say, 1,000 acres is prepared with irrigation. So you get to a point, you divert a bit of the Tano River into irrigation of, say, 5-acre lots. And so if you have 1,000 acres and you are doing even 10-acre lots, you are getting 100-acre lots. So 5 is about 200-acre lots. And you are giving these 5-acre lots to young men to farm, right? I'll always use maize as an example. If they are doing 5 acres of maize and we've given them the right input and the support, every acre will get you at least 30 bags of maize. Times 5 is 150 bags of maize in 3.5 months. Okay, 150 bags of maize. Now it's about 180. Let's even say it's 100 cedis per bag times 150. What's the maths?
15,000.
15,000 cedis in 3 months. Your cost of input is about 6, 7, 8,000. Let's say 50%. So in 3 months, that person managing the 5 acre is getting 7,500 cedis. If you spread it across the 3 months as a salary, how much is that? They're even earning more than a bank teller in a bank in the city. But all these people need is the infrastructure. The same way we extend electricity and roads and telecommunications to deprived communities. That same way, let's extend farming services like irrigation, land banks, so that people don't have to then worry about going to find bulldozers to go and clear forests to go and farm. Once these are there and it's irrigated, because it's along the tunnel and there's water all the time, they can farm maize at least twice a year. So twice a year, they are getting 7,500 per season times 2. That is 15,000. If you spread it over the 12 months, they're getting at least 1,000 Ghana cedis a year. If you're in a village and you're earning 1,000 Ghana cedis a month, that's some good money. Once these things are done, and buffer
you don't need to police the maize. Once you plant,
and buffer stock and all these other institutions,
you are getting
we are getting
business.
food. We are creating jobs, because I'm not sure. Sometimes people say galamsey, the people in galamsey get money. My brother has done galamsey before when I was a boy. My elder brother, he used to do galamsey in Obuasi. I've not seen any transformation in his life from galamsey.
But even with that, because I have cousins who do galamsey, because my village is, galamsey kind of space, you know, they are okay. That I won't take from them. They are okay, they are getting money. But what I'm saying is this the sustainable way of living? So they are doing galamsey now, they are digging everywhere, digging out cocoa farms.
I was going to come to that, because it's usually, when you look at the galamsey, it's usually a small group of people who are actually making the money.
Yes.
The larger group within the whole system don't make as much. And they don't make as much, and the impact of it also on the rest of the community is so much.
Exactly.
And I always say this, look, if countries like Egypt, which sit on a desert, okay, Egypt, Libya, all these countries, they sit on a desert, and they can still use agribusiness to create jobs and opportunities for their people. What stops us from doing some of these things?
Because don't you think that we always want the easy way out? We always want lazy approach to stuff. But I'm saying this because we have what it takes. You know, we live in a society where when you finish cooking and you throw the tomato water out, in about some weeks, you have tomato at your background. You did not weed, you did not put fertilizer, you did not do anything. So really, how difficult, you know, is it to even say that, okay, this is the maize, let's go and spread it on the land. It is raining, everybody go home. Let's come back in the next 1 month and see what has happened.
The thing is, if you are doing agric on a scale, let's say 1 acre, 2 acres, 3 acres, then there is a lot of work to be done. Taking care of weeds on 1 acre, even 1 acre is a lot of work, right? Buying the seed and fertilizer and other things is a lot of work. That's how, even though in our homes, in our backyards, we throw seed and it germinates and you think it's easy, it's not easy.
No.
But comparatively,
exactly.
Comparatively, if you compare agric to the dangers of mining, it's way better, way ahead and way easier.
And I'm even looking
and
at
can even
how
make it
much,
even easier.
How much we are pumping into the so-called fight against galamsey. What if we channel this into agriculture to even produce the fertilizer, to make sure that we clear the land? Is that not cheaper?
It's cheaper. And one of the things we've tried to do is the oil palm project. And I think one of the reasons why it's not working is that when people are doing galamsey and you say, we'll help you do oil palm, and you give them seedlings, they plant the seedling today. It takes 3-4 years before they can get value. So within that 3-4 years, what do they do?
What should they do and eat?
And I don't know whether those who implement those programs think about it. Between that 3-4 years, what do they do? So we need to look at things like snail farming.
Mushroom.
Vegetables.
Fish.
Grains. Fish. Because there are some things that don't take you a year. There are some things that take you 2 months, 3 months, and you are seeing some money, right? And so these are things that I think that we should, as a matter of agency, apply ourselves to. And I always say that the research is there, the knowledge is there. CSIR, Food Research Institute, Animal Research Institute, Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Biotechnology, Nuclear Agriculture, they have all those things. The amount of money we are putting into fighting this, maybe we should put some into engaging people properly and letting them know the opportunities properly in agric. The average person in the village or in the rural area knows that agric is a good place. It's just that there are challenges. So let's remove some of the bottlenecks and the challenges. If we say we are building silos and warehouses, we should actually build them. We shouldn't build them on paper.
Thank you very much.
We should actually build them. If we say we are fixing roads, that's why I was listening to some farmers complaining on a radio station that sometimes we say, oh, the farmers are selling to people and the people will smuggle it outside the country. But the thing is, he's found his money to farm. The road to his village is bad. There is no state support to help. Now, if a private person decides that they'll go through that bad road to come and buy from them, should they sit and say, oh, these people will smuggle this, so I shouldn't sell it to them?
Now, what's even the guarantee that government will buy?
It's not even the government.
The state or...
Sometimes the state enabling certain things. Where I'm from, if the road is great, I think I can buy a lot of cashew and maize and go and sell. But the road is not great. So if you are renting a truck, the truck is probably going to charge you double. So there are simple things we can do. And these people don't need asphalted roads as those in Adabraka and East Legon. Just the dusty road. Go and grade it. Put a compactor on it to make it fair.
What stops government from even buying from these farmers? Look, yesterday we were complaining about Kede SHS eating gari and granite soup for 2 weeks. Meanwhile, we have farm produce rotting on farms. What is the difficulty in this? So what stopped government from saying that, okay, every senior high school is going to eat something from Ghana? So all the farmers, whatever you are planting, as long as, even let's say that even the roads are bad, but once you can get your produce to maybe your assembly or to your government will pay. So if the people are, if they are kind of finding, you understand? Because if Kojo right now, somebody tells you that, oh, come for 500,000 Ghana cedis, I don't think that the bad road will stop you.
No.
Whatever it takes for you to get there. So if they know that if I take my produce to this side, I have a deal with the assembly. They will take this from me, or from the ministry, they will take this from me, take it to the secondary school. I think that this will solve our problem. But it rains, we have certain seasonal crops, we produce them, they all get rotten. Look at mangoes, watermelon. I mean, there are times that you are buying plantain, they are even beating you with plantain. And there are seasons that you go to the market, one plantain is 2 cedis. Why are we doing this? And then we say that we are taking the galam stop, we are taking gold catcher, we are doing, what kind of joke is this?
Firma, you've said everything. So it's still, that's why I'm saying the commitment. Because some of these things you've said, they've been said 60 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago. In fact, school feeding program, if you look at the project that brought about the school feeding program, we're doing school feeding program as a support program to an agric project. So support productivity in agric and take some to feed schools, take some to feed the markets, and everybody is happy. But that agric component was not well executed. Usually we will try something, and I think that sometimes when we try something and we face challenges, we don't review and find, then people just run away with funds. And so we really need to look at this. Look, Ghana is in a very good position from where I'm sitting to be self-sufficient in a lot of things. we're in a good position to lift every poor Ghanaian out of poverty. We're in a good position not to even destroy our water bodies for gold.
Yeah.
Because the value of gold plus the value of alternative uses of the water and the land, if you do the analysis, the value of the alternative uses trumps the value of the gold we are getting and the challenges we are getting. Imagine 5 million people depending on Tano River not getting water.
Yeah.
Even if 200,000 of that 5 million don't get water and they are getting waterborne diseases and stuff, do you know the effect on the healthcare system and how much money we'll have to go and look from donor partners and our taxes to take care of the health of those people? So sometimes you do those calculations and realize that we need to make a decision. For me, mining in water bodies, out for me. Mining close to water bodies, out for me. If your mining activity is going to destroy the water body, it's not just destroying the water body, because the water body, like the human system, it's a network that communicates with so many other things. So you mess up ecosystems, you mess up so many other things, and you put all of us in jeopardy. So we need to pay attention to this. But there's another thing. There is something called bioremediation, and people at Legon and Tech have done work on it, using organisms and plants to help rejuvenate, because there are some plants and some organisms that can break down mercury, that can break down some of these heavy metals. I think that the ministry, if they are not looking there, they should start talking to the scientists. Let them use bioremediation to restore some of the places that are destroyed. For a place like Agboloshi, for example, there are plants we can easily plant there to take out all the toxicity to restore Agboloshi into a very nice place. Let's give the scientists some money and let's give them space to work so that we save the environment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We have more conversations in our communities.